Sonia here with your intuitive tip of the week. And this week I am talking about letting shit go. Let it go, let it go. Da, da, da. I don't know any of my lyrics, but that's basically the main point. You got it. So letting go is so hard. Letting go of our expectations, letting go of our disappointments, letting go of grudges, letting go of things that no longer serve us because our intellect is like, no, this is something that's still important. We have to put more energy to it. But interestingly enough, when we're in that space, we are in our intellect and in over-control mode. And when we're in over-control mode, that disconnects us from our intuition, from our deeper sense, and even from our feeling bodies, which is where we receive our intuition or receive guidance and where we receive our feelings. So I've had to let go of a lot of stuff this year. I've had to let go of relationships. I've had to let go of dreams, living in Paris in my cute little bedroom apartment with my sweetie, and I'm here in New Orleans. And the interesting thing is if we hold on to stuff that no longer serves us and it's no longer in alignment, what happens is it takes us away from the present moment, from our ability to enjoy. If I was still hung up on my dream, then I wouldn't be able to be here present with this experience. A lot of times when we have to let things go, first of all, we have to start look at the reality of what is. And this is also something that I find so often in relationships, me included. I've done this, of being in a relationship or in a job or something that actually doesn't serve us and we know it, but we hold out that hope that one day, if we love them enough or give them enough or show up enough, then something magically will change. Newsflash, it won't. It won't. Reminds me of a relationship that I was in for 5 years and with a super great dude, but he just wasn't my dude. And it was kind of like trying to fit a round thing into a square box. And it was like, for me, it was interesting because my intellect was so creative in trying to make this work. And I was like, if I do enough and if I research enough and if I grow enough and if I get passionate enough and do all these different things, then one day it's going to be different. And, first of all, when we have to let things go, like I said, of having to look at the reality of the situation. And for me, it was that this person wasn't right for me. It wasn't a right fit. In terms of Paris, isn't right for now. And, the other thing that shows up when we let go of stuff or have to let go of stuff is a lot of times fear. Fear comes in. It says, if I let this go, then nothing else good will come. And that's where we block off our own access to our spirit, to the universe, and anything that's outside of right here. And right here is where the bad neighborhood. And, the interesting thing is on a deeper level, you know what you need to let go of, whether it's a grudge, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's even just a way of being in the world. It's these places where we can gather back our energy and even our own personal place of power and start to live a life that's more in alignment with what is true for us. Now, how do you let stuff go? First of all, feel it. Feel it. Let yourself feel the sadness. Let yourself feel the disappointment. Now, this doesn't mean to get into the story. Stories can be very, very, very intoxicating. And we can see this so often that it happens when it's like, the story of how I've been wronged or the story of how nothing ever works out the way that I want it to. Those things are really great fodder for our ego and are ways that can bolster us and make us feel better very temporarily. But in reality, if we start to actually let ourselves feel stuff and even the fear, for me, I stayed in that relationship for a really long time because for a lot of different reasons, including that I was afraid that there wasn't going to be another person on the other side that was going to be a better fit for me. I thought that I had to be less intuitive or weird or all over the place and dim my light in order to make somebody else feel comfortable. And, I managed a lot of that energy internally instead of just looking at what was. And starting to actually apply a certain amount of, and actually a whole lot of self-compassion. You know, a lot of times, especially as empaths and intuitives, we're really good at being compassionate with everyone else, but can be really, really, really stingy with ourselves. So a really great tool is, how do you receive comfort? You know, for me, comfort is reassuring words and physical touch, and ways that I comfort myself is I'll literally put one hand on my heart and one on my belly and say, everything is gonna be okay. It's okay. Everything is okay. You're safe. And interestingly enough, that gives me a little bit more psychic space. And when I have that more psychic space, then I can be in the present moment to decide to choose something different. And also, when we have to let things go, it's also when we have to let go of our narratives of how the world works, of how we are, of how people are. And that can also be scary, because a lot of times those narratives are our places of control and safety. But the thing is they don't actually keep us safe. You know, when we can start to look at our relationships or people just as they are instead of how we want them to be, we start to alleviate not only our own responsibility, but our own disappointment in how other people show up. You know, too, in letting things go, and especially this comes to when we have to forgive people, a lot of times when we feel like if we forgive them, then somehow we're justifying them not being good to us. But the thing is, you know, forgiveness gives us our own space back. It gives us our own power back. And, you know, if you have to forgive somebody who you're in a relationship with, you know, first of all, it's or even, you know, in different dynamics, you know, first of all, it's looking at where your point of accountability is and what their point of accountability is, and then also letting go of expectation. You know, it's sort of sometimes when we forgive somebody, we want a big parade, but really it's a softening in our own heart space. And, you know, forgiveness, and not the spiritual bypass, I'm just gonna forgive everybody, because that's bullshit. I hate that. It's one of the things that drives me crazy in spirituality. Just forgive. It's well, maybe I need to work through some stuff first in order to actually let go and create that own space in my heart. You know, it's having to first slow down and recognize how it is that we're feeling, getting underneath the narrative, getting underneath the blah, blah, blah. And another really great tip is also to talk to your inner child. You know, we all have an inner child. That's our part also, that's our playing, magnificent, available self. But our inner child, just like little kids, also gets scared. And if we can spend time, even just 5 minutes a day, talking to our inner child, telling them that everything is going to be okay, we can start to create more space. Third of all, in starting to let things go, this is also when we don't let go of stuff is when we want to be in control. And control is cool, kinda, but also we're not actually in control. And if we can start to sort of turn over the reins, start to give it over to the universe, give it to God, give it to whatever feels right for you, that's when we can allow ourselves to be in flow more. We don't have to be in fight, flight, freeze, figure it out, but we get to be in flow, where we trust ourselves, trust our bodies, trust the universe, trust other people's spirit. And that is really relieving. You know, so often we feel like we have to have it all figured out. And if we don't have it figured out, then we're gonna be late to the game or it's gonna be too much. But, you know, right now we're about to reach the summer solstice, which is a point of self-reflection and really a new beginning and a new season. So what's the shit that you have to let go of? What doesn't serve you anymore? What's no longer good for you or your spirit? What doesn't actually feel good? You know. And also, if you're not ready to let it go, that's also okay. You know, a lot of times we want to rush our timing, we want to rush things as a way to make us feel more grounded. It doesn't help. But if we can start to slow down and connect our own personal place of power, our intuition, spirit, that's where we have the power and the capacity to do incredible, incredible things. And know that you know what's true for you, what's in alignment for you. And take that also as a base of personal power. So sending you all my love. Sign up for our newsletter, soniaandsabrina.com. Spiritual lesson a week. You'll love it. And I love you.